Hi everybody. I just wanted to do a quick garden tour. It is third week of October. I forget what the date is. I'll put it on the screen. But I also wanted to show you guys what the garden looks like now. We've gone from the warmest October, probably on record, with no rain, and it started raining a couple days ago. It's not raining now, obviously, and I think a lot of things are going to change in the garden. I'm feeling a little bit slightly excited and slightly overwhelmed at the same time because everything was looking great last week and now it needs to be cleaned up. So I just wanted to make a quick record of what the garden looks like today because I think a lot of things are going to change. Patio garden, Rose of Sharon, the the burning bush is starting to turn red. Got some lilies, Japanese maple. These lovely pink things, a lot of people have them around here. Some sort of fall blooming, I don't know if they're an allium or what, but they're pretty cool looking. And the dahlias have really enjoyed the rain, so they weren't looking that great. They look good now. Zinnias here are still popping. This is an Emerald Tower basil. I'm going to make a video about this because I really thought it was really good. Strawberries are super sad. The container garden is starting to die off a bit. We're going to use some of this soil in some of the areas of the garden, I think, particularly maybe like the tomato pots. The apple orchard. I'm going to take out a bunch of these plants here so that the apples have a little more breathing room. We do have some, what looks to me like some sort of disease on this particular apple tree. I'm going to have Clive trim this, I think, further down here, but not until the spring. The other apple tree, however, is actually looking pretty good. It's got a lot of know growth on it. I don't know how much you can see down there, but I'm going to clean this up. Over here on the left-hand garden, things are still blooming. It still looks pretty good. This will probably be maybe the last place we do any taking out of things. I'm thinking this year, as much as possible, I'm going to try to compost in place. So if I do cut something off, I'm going to try to leave it. And I will leave as many things as possible for the wildlife, birds and whatnot, if there's seeds, so that they can take care of it. This little mess over here, I have plans for this area. This tree needs a little bit of trimming, and also there's some blackberry bushes coming through, so we need to take care of that. Bocking 14 just hanging out. The cosmos over here in the cut flower garden have completely taken over now. There are still some zinnias left, and of course there's the Bocking 14 back there. The back garden was quite neglected this year, so I think what I'm going to try to do is just kind of straighten things up back here, maybe do some composting in place. We did cut back some of that ivy and just let it lay on the ground, and we'll try to cover that up maybe with some leaves when we get them so that they don't root. Who knows, they might do it anyway. But things have been cut back a little bit back here. There's Jason working on the compost. So over here in the right-hand garden where we had the first giant sunflower, things are also winding down. And I'm going to just kind of move maybe a couple of things in here. I'm hoping that a lot of these, like the lobelia and the alyssum, will come back next year. I might just cut and just lay them down and let them decay in place. And maybe we'll get some zinnias too, who knows. There's still a couple late sunflowers here. like this guy. This area turned out to be a little bit more wild than I anticipated. The cosmos, I didn't realize how big they would get. And so this just needs a little bit of cleaning, I think, and it would look really good. The tomato cage is still wrapped, but there are no more tomatoes in there. In the dead Japanese maple, there's a sunflower. And yeah, I don't know what the plans are going to be for this poor little tree area. There are still quite a few things going on in the actual vegetable garden. I haven't pulled up any of the pepper plants yet. I'm thinking today I might cut them. I need to look this up. Cut them and see if I can't just hang them up so that some of the peppers that are on there can finish up. We've got beets being eaten by something, lettuce, some purple sprouting broccoli in here. Oh, there's a tomato in that pot. These tomato plants can come down. There's no more tomatoes in them. I need to do something with the basil before it gets really cold. I've harvested the drying beans, as many as I could. And then after I harvested them, I saw some stuff that said if they're not done, you're supposed to cut the plants from the bottom and then hang them. But our plants are all intertwined in this metal, so it would have been impossible for me to just cut the plants and take the plants somewhere. I don't know how you're supposed to do that. The garlic is here. We have some lovely zinnias still left over. The ground cherry, I think I'm going to cut the ground cherry today and see if I can't hang that upside down and see if I can get some of the ground cherries to ripen. Couple pepper plants here. Again, not totally sure what to do with them. Wildflower garden still has a few wildflowers, not many bees around. Too cold, maybe. This is Jason's tub of Jerusalem artichokes. I don't know, looks like it should be harvested to me. I'll see what he says. This is probably the most productive area right now in terms of what may be coming. So these are the Brussels sprouts, and we have our vining little individual sized squashes of various kinds. There seems to be only one sign, but two kinds of them, so there you go. We did have some cucumbers last week that I'd picked, and I thought I saw, oh, there is one left. So I don't know. This guy might do something, but I don't know. I think it's too cold. Now these beans are also drying eating beans, but they hadn't gotten along as far as I wanted them to, so we left them on there. And we did pick quite a few, but we left all the green ones on, so we'll see what happens. Whether we just pull the plants or I just leave them while we're gone, and then in a couple weeks we can come back and maybe they'll be okay. We've got some great mushroom forests in many of the pathways at the moment, so that's pretty interesting. The Brussels sprout tree is making Brussels sprouts, so that's interesting. Jason found this pea growing here. We think it must have been from when Mama was here and we had peas everywhere. They're delicious. Corn's all done. And down at the end there, those are personal size spaghetti squashes. I do have one mashed potato squash right there, but I think that's as big as it's going to get. So that's a bit of a bust this year. Planted those too late. We still have a bunch of parsnips to get to. There's one giant carrot left over there, and Jason has planted a bunch more. And he's got some today that are chitted. We're going to just try that and see if that works. We've got one more potato bucket. This little bush bean, green bean, has some green beans on it, so I might harvest some of these today. This is the lemon drop pepper, and you can see there's so many peppers on there. They turn purple and then they turn yellow. There's one yellow one down there. You can see that one's ready to go. But I'm worried about just leaving them out here. I think they might rot. So I don't know. Gotta look that up. This broccoli is from, I don't know when. I keep cutting it down and it keeps coming back. So we have little broccolis on there. And the kale is doing okay. Again, they're from the spring, maybe even a winter planting. So they're all right. Clean those up a little bit. And we have more peppers over here. This is a ghost pepper. We haven't had any of them ripen. So I think too cold of a spring, not hot enough in the summer. The other peppers did okay. This is a fish pepper that did pretty good. And this fish pepper has even more ripe ones on it, so I can harvest some of these today. They're teeny tiny. Okay, last but not least in this row, there's some bok choy, some spring onions. Bok choy got a little bit eaten, but now seems to be doing a little bit better. So hopefully they'll grow a little bit more. Yeah, so there you go. I don't think I covered everything, but that was a quick overview. Like I said, I'm hoping that things get rearranged and moved and kind of cleaned up a little bit, but I'm hesitant to do too much cleaning because I don't want the wildlife to not have anything to eat in the winter. So there'll be some cutting and some cleaning up, but we're going to try to leave as much as we can for them. I hope everyone's having a great day and that you enjoyed the garden tour in October. Thanks.